Hello guys, welcome back. Trust we are all doing well. Alright, so in today's video we'll be looking at how to import data into Microsoft Power BI desktop. Data from different sources, Excel file, CSV file, a PDF, data from the web, databases, how to enter data manually into Power BI. We'll be looking at that today. Just like how we imported data into Power Query in Microsoft Excel, we're doing the same thing here. We also have Power Query in Microsoft Power BI desktop. So let's get started. For us to import data into Power BI desktop, you find that option here in the Home tab, right? And just like how I showed us in our last video, you can also find it here. When you can see get data, you can do that here. But since you are in the Power BI front end, just go with the ones here. We have different options. You want to get data from Excel workbook. So if you know and you are sure your data is an Excel file, why not click on this and you're good to go. One Lake Data Hub, you want to connect to SQL Server, or you want to enter data manually into Power BI desktop, you're good to go. From Dataverse, you are good to go. But this get data option function gives you different options of data sources you can get your data from. So we have from Excel workbook, Power BI semantic model, data flow, Dataverse, SQL Server, analysis services, text or CSV, web, OData. We have different sources. And when you hit more, it brings out more options for you. So let's start with importing an Excel file into Power BI desktop. I'm going to hit Excel workbook. Now you notice the moment I hit Excel workbook, it takes me here, and the only thing you are seeing here is just data modeling, and hovering you can see Microsoft Excel worksheet. The reason why it selected just this data, it's not as if you have just this data alone in that folder. It picked only this because this is an Excel file. If I come down here to click on all, you get to see the remaining data that are in that same folder. Let me just select this. I know this is an Excel file I want to work with. I'll select this and hit open. Then it tried to create a connection with the data I just linked it with. So you can see we have the navigator in here. Then you see, let's select the data and try to preview how it looks like. So this is the data. I'm sure this is what I imported in. To bring it in, make sure this box is checked. So I'll check this box. Now remember I said you don't just hit load. The only time you can hit load is if you are sure the data you are bringing in is very clean and is ready for analysis. If you are not sure, don't bother hitting that load button. Just go straight and hit the transform data button. What this button will do, it takes you to Power Query where you can now edit the data to your taste or until you're satisfied with it, and reload it back into Power BI front end. Now I'm going to hit transform data, then it takes us straight to Power Query. I'm very sure we are all not new to this. We are not new to Power Query. We've done this in Microsoft Excel. We've trashed a lot of things about Power Query in Microsoft Excel. So here we have this. I'm going to rename this. So I'll come here and I'll rename this to give me Excel file, just Excel file. I'll just give it that name, Excel file. Then I'll hit enter. So just like how we treated it in Microsoft Excel, this is your query setting. This is where you can see query setting, where you see the file name. You can also change the file name here. You can see apply step. So any step you apply would be listed here. There's nothing like redo or undo. The only thing you can do is if you cancel a step here, just forget about the step. It is gone. You can't retrieve it. You cannot redo anything. Once you delete it, that's the end of it. So every step you apply to your data, every transformation would be reflecting here. Then any data you import into Power Query gets to reflect here in the queries pane. Then we have different functions here to work with. In the Home tab here, you can see different different functions to work with on your newly imported data. You want to transform the data, or an existing data, or you want to add columns, the view, the tools. I'm not going to go deep into explaining all this again because we've done it before. So Home, now we just imported an Excel file. So what if I want to import a CSV file? Don't forget I said a CSV file is a comma separated value file, and it's file that are separated by delimiters. Now let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to go back and open that file. Okay, I would go back, open the file so we get to see what a comma separated file is. Material, then this. Okay, so I'm trying to show us why it's comma separated. Show more options, then open with. We're going to try to open it with the notepad so you get to see it. So you can see now that every of the data is separated by comma. Order day 1, order ID I mean 1, the customer ID, the name of the customer, the product ID, every data here is separated by comma. So sometimes it could not be comma, it could be maybe slash, it could be hyphen, it could be semicolon or colon. All these are delimiters separating data. That is why it's called comma separated value. So I'm going to cancel this, then let's go back. I'm going to bring this. To bring in that CSV file, just come here. We're already in Power Query, so you don't have to go back and follow the same method that we used to bring this in, the Excel file in. So come here and hit new source. So from this new source you can see different options too. Then I'll select text/CSV because my file is a CSV file. Waiting for it to bring out. Okay. Now you can see two options here. We have the blank query and the data modeling. It's bringing this is a text file. Don't forget we selected text/CSV. Even if I want to bring in a CSV file, so to bring in the data that is either text or CSV. This is CSV, and one way you can also differentiate between CSV, a Microsoft Excel CSV file, and Microsoft Excel file itself is you notice you have one A, like a letter A, beside this X symbol here. This is for comma separated values. When you just see X, you know that's for Excel file. So I'm going to select this and hit open to bring it in. Now, when you're working with a CSV file, the tab that comes is not like the normal one when you bring in Microsoft Excel and it brings the navigator and asks you to select a sheet and preview it and bring it in. Since you are working with a CSV file, it brings this format. It comes in this format. Then you can see the file origin, where the file is coming from, the kind of delimiter separating the file, and if you know it's not comma, you can select the type of delimiter separating it. But most of the time, Microsoft Power BI Desktop picks the correct delimiter. Then, but if you know it's not the correct delimiter, you can select the one that is correct. Then, or if it's not here, choose custom and type it in yourself. Then currently you are seeing it's based on first 200 rows. So if this data is more than 200 rows, it only currently you can say based on first 200 rows. So you can detect the data type based on the entire data set, or tell it not to detect any data type, any function or anything you ask it to do, it would do it. But I'll leave it based on first 200 rows that way. Then I think I'm okay with this. Then I'll hit OK to load the data into Power. Yes, so we have this. I'm going to rename this, or just add CSV to CSV. Then enter. Then the next thing I want to show us how to bring in. Before then, let's look at how we can enter data. So I'm going to click here. You can see here in the new query, you can see enter data. So I click on enter data. The moment I click on enter data, let's see what happens. Then we have this here. We have this here. So I can come in here and type, let's say I'm giving this name. So it means you can, if the data you want to work with is not much, you can just type it yourself. Blessing Ibrahim. Then plus sign, email. I'll put my email. Then maybe aa at gmail. Then gmail.com. Then plus sign, maybe courses. I'll put courses. Then probably Excel. No, you can also add plus sign to add more, and the next row, and you're good. Once you are done, change the table name maybe to let me just give it blessings details, blessings detail, and once I'm done I'll hit OK. So you notice that, can you see it here? We have the file here. So let me just give this, no, let me just do that blessings detail. It's just me trying to show us how we can type in data. So what if I want to get data from a PDF? So come here. So if you're not seeing the source you want to get data from, just click on more. Then it will bring out other options that you can get data from. I'm going to come here and I'll select PDF. Now connect with it. Then you can see it brings this. I'll hit open. Try to connect with it. Yeah. So we have the navigator pane again here. It will list out all the data, all the tables in that PDF. So one thing you should note, when you are bringing in data for a PDF, make sure the data you want to bring in are in tabular form in that PDF. That way it makes your work more easier. So waiting for it to load in all the data from that PDF. You can see. So I'm going to preview and just pick one. I'm just showing us how to. So I'll pick preview and pick one. Let's say I'm going with I'm going with 05, table 05. So I'll check this table 05. Then I'm going to hit OK. So it brings this data in. So can you see we have table 05 now? So I'm just going to rename this table table 05. Then I'll give it table 05 PDF to differentiate it. Then I'll hit enter. So what if I want to get data from the web? To get data from the web, let's assume I want to get data from, I want to draw out data from the world population online. So I'd come here. So let's see world population. What's population? So world population by country. Let's say I want to work with this. So I'll scroll down and look for Wikipedia. Then I'll scroll to where the data I want to get is. So I want to get this one, the one for list of countries and territories by total population. So I'll copy this. I'll copy this link here. Ctrl C to copy it. Then, okay. Then I would just come back to Power BI here. Then come here to new sources. You can see web from the web. Then I'll paste that URL. Once this pops up, you can see from web. Then Ctrl V to paste it. Okay, so let's see how it draws the data. Anonymous. Okay. Yes, connect. So to show you these anonymous windows basic, let's just hit connect. So it's trying to create connection with data online. So you can see now that all the data has been retrieved, gotten from that link. So I'll preview this and let's see what you can see. This is exactly what I wanted to show, the list of countries and territories by total population. So I'll just check this one that I need, then I'll hit OK to load this in. And so you can see, then I'll just rename, waiting for it to process the queries well. So you can see we have a list of the data gotten from the web. So I would come here and I would rename this to, I'll just give it web, not rename, I'll just add web to it to differentiate it. Web. Can you see how we got data from an Excel file, a CSV file, typing data directly from a PDF and also from the web? You can, if you have database and you have the link and database name, the password and database name, you can link it to. Just all you have to come here, come to SQL, so click on SQL server, type in the name of the database, type in the password, and to connect to the database, and you can extract or import data from it into Power BI desktop. let me click on blank query. Now I'm going to go back. I have this file here that it's just query that it's there. Now let's see. Import data, this query. I'm going to open it. Then I'll copy this, all this. Someone just sent you this. Now I'll copy this. Then I'll go back to Power BI desktop. Power BI desktop, right? Then we already clicked on blank query. All we have to do is to come to, in the queries group, just query group, click on advanced editor. So I'll click on advanced editor. Then I would just clear this, then Ctrl V to paste the formula. So once I paste the formula, now if I try to okay, if I hit done now, I may not really get, you can see I'm seeing data source error. That's because Power Query can't find the data source. It's not the same thing. So for me to, I have to go back to my folder wherever I save the data modeling file to be. I think it's the data modeling file here. Then I'll copy the file path. I'll copy the file path so copy file path. I just copied it now. Then I'll go back to Power BI, go back to that advanced query editor. Then I'm going to remove this, remove all this here, because I don't need it. It's not the same thing. You notice I pasted it here. Delete, then Ctrl V to paste where it is exactly on my own system now currently. And I'm going to hit, so you can see no syntax error have been detected. I'll just hit done. Then, so can you see? This why it's bringing that error is because the file path on this query is different from the file path where that data is on my own system currently now, the folder where it is. So that's how you can. So I'm just going to rename this to blank query. This is how you can get query. Now you can also get data from a query sent to you. I hope you'll be able to pick one or two from this session and you know how to import data. So one last thing before we go. Once you are done importing all the data you want to work with and you've done your transformation, of course, you've not done any transformation here. I only showed you how to import the data into Power BI. So what I'm going to do is just come here and hit, you can see we have the close and apply button. Click on the drop down button. Now we have different options. We have close and apply. We have apply, we have close. This close and apply means it will close the Power Query, then apply it, that is, take the data into Power BI frontend. The apply alone will just apply it, it won't close it. The close will only close the Power Query. So I'm going to hit close and apply, mean close the Power Query tab, then load the data into Power BI frontend. So I'll hit close and apply. The moment I'm done, it will just bring the data here. So waiting for it to, you can see, loading data into Power, it will keep loading the data in. All the data have been loaded in directly into Power BI. You can see it here now in the data pane. You can see all the data we imported here. So this is how you import data into Power BI desktop. Now one last thing again, don't forget to save your work so that you will not make every of your efforts just go to waste like that. Come here, you can see it's showing on title Power BI. It means it has not been saved. Is that Ctrl S? Is it that you Ctrl S or you come here and hit save? But to save you stress, just Ctrl S. Ctrl S, and it will bring out the save dialog box. So I'm waiting for it. Can you see save with name? So I'm going to save it and just give it I'll just give it Power BI class 1. Class 1. Then you can browse for more options where you want it to be. Browse this device for more options. I'm going to look for where I want it to be. So I want it to just be here. Just here. So I'll save it. No, make sure you rename it Power BI class 1. Then I'll hit enter. You notice that the name gets changed, so it's saved. If you want to close it, just come here and hit cancel. Then you are done. That is how you import data and also save your work. Thank you. Yes, save. I hope we've been able to get one or two from this video. Alright, so we meet in our next video. Bye.